Hello and welcome to the internet. My name is JakeDragon7 and welcome to today's episode of Amiibo Training. So in the previous episode we started off training Overrated. Overall he did not do particularly well, but neither did I, so I guess it's all pretty decent then? Yeah, sure, why not? So yeah. Today, let's see if we'll do any better. We at least got the first hit in, so that's something. And of course, the one time I just tried... The one time I decided to try edge guarding a bit higher, he goes down low. Okay. So, just barely got off that thunder. Let's think then. I feel like he uses Skull Bash a little bit too much, but if I don't use it too much, there's a good chance he won't either as time progresses. He definitely goes for Thunder a lot, but that guy really messed it up. I guess I do too as well. I go for it a fair amount. I guess I haven't done too much Thunder Jolt zoning on him, so he hardly uses it, I'd say. Okay, maybe not hardly uses it, but he doesn't use it quite as often as I usually do. Now, mind you, I would say I'm using it a bit less this series, at least so far, just because he's not quite as much of as a threat, and I never really feel like I have to zone, and I have to try to figure out a strategy and just play more passively. I can definitely rush in a lot easier and just do things like that. I'm not sure why he felt it was necessary to go for a quick attack there, but okay. Sure, why not? Okay. Let's see, well, he worked, I guess. Bit of an unconventional combo right there. I notice those happen quite often in this series. With Amiibo's very odd air dodging habits. Oh, crap! I tried not air dodging, wall jumping, but nope, apparently not. Because I know Pikachu can wall jump. Oh, I did at the beginning of this match, but sometimes it's a little bit odd. I don't necessarily call it finicky, because it does seem to always work, pretty much. It's just sometimes inputting it can be a little tricky. Okay, well, Quick Attack is definitely a very good recovery move, so I guess I shouldn't be too surprised he made it back. Pikachu can come back with just as up B from pretty deep. Not as deep as characters like Villager, mind you, but still, it can take him very, very far. Assuming you do it perfectly, though. Like, that's the thing. Quick Attack is one of the hardest recoveries to actually use. As much as it's very good, it's extremely versatile, and once you master it, it'll pretty much always get you back to stage safely. Because you just have, it feels like in a lot of situations, you just have a shit ton of options with it. It's just that inputting it is fairly difficult. And okay, I'm definitely using that way too much. The sound effect's getting quite annoying. That kind of happens sometimes. I've annoyed people from like using it too much, and people just getting pissed at the constant sounds of, yeah, you know what the sound is. I won't bother trying to annoy you with it. Yeah. Actually, if you guys have any ideas for customs for Pikachu, you can leave them down in the comments below. I do have an idea for a custom set for Pika that I'll start using next episode. So it'll definitely change with the way I use Thunder Jolt a lot, because I will be using an alternate version of that. You can probably guess which one it is if you know anything about Pika's customs, because it's pretty much the most infamous of all of his customs. And also, I'm still taking requests for any future Amiibo you want to see trained, so you can leave them down in the comments below, and I'll see what I can do. So yeah. Alright. I'm just get a bit of a better lead right now. Let's see. Just trying to rack up some damage here. Okay. Well, I figured it was worth a shot. I mean, I didn't necessarily get punished for using Skull Bash there. Just didn't exactly work. See? Almost worked. That certainly worked. And I've gotten a lot of my kills with up smash, which I guess isn't quite as bad, because like the previous two Amiibo, I mean, most of my kills are from downer spikes, which is especially bad with DDD. I mean, you can kill at a ridiculously low percent, but it's also like ridiculously hard to even hit in the first place. So that was kind of bad, but it feels like it's a lot easier to fall for Pikachu's up smash because it is fairly quick. It's not quite as strong as a DDD down air, or probably a Robin down air for that matter, because 11 sword is just kind of ridiculous. But still, certainly feels like one of the better up smashes. Trust me, as a Ness main, hell, honestly, like, all of my mains have garbage up smashes. Because, like, Shulks and Duck Hunts, you can barely even hit in the first place. People always fall out of them. And then Nesses, even though it's fairly easy to hit, and I do use it quite often, it's not really a smash attack, because it barely does, like, any damage. It's a super weak move. It's just a pretty decent out-of-shield option, because it's pretty easy to pull off. It can hit from the back. Yeah, it hits from the back at the start, so that allows it to have a good amount of utility. But I don't think it kills until like 200% on FD at least. So yeah, it's not exactly the most useful move. Okay though, so that was supposed to be a thunder, but okay. And just the tip. Okay. So he was like right up close to me while I was in lag from Thunder Jolt, and he just kind of backs off a little. Alright, that's cool game. He's getting very lucky with me being in these thunders. Alright, so oh man, of course. Well, I did go for something kind of dumb there, so I still got to punish it. And alright, well, he seemed like he's starting to do Thunder Jolt a little bit more. I do like it as an approach tool, to an extent. Like, obviously overusing it, like, pretty much any move is bad. But, still, it can be fairly useful as a tool for approaching. Although, right now, it's not exactly getting me very far. God, man. Okay, these thunders from him are getting very annoying. So, let's see here. There we go. Fourth down up smash. It actually can work sometimes. If your opponent just air dodges or doesn't do anything, like, it can actually kind of work. I don't know how well it work on a human opponent, but I feel like I've gotten it to work on people before. Okay. Yeah, Pikachu's down smash. I really don't use it too often. It does have the whole covering two sides things most down smashes do, but I feel like the hitbox on it is really small and just not that strong. Up smash is way better at netting kills, and I feel like it is a little bit faster. So that just kind of makes it better in my opinion. Plus, you can do up smash out of a run, which for one of the ones like Pikachu's, it makes it pretty useful. You can just kind of dart around a bit and then just run up and up smash and get a fairly easy kill. Okay, so for this one, and we're gonna continue mixing up. Then we're going to Town City. Well, lucky you. Yeah, I actually wonder if I'd up smash there, would it have done one of those like really jank things where it hits under the stage? I kind of do want to try that at some point in the series. I just have to think about it because it's such an unconventional thing to do. Like, it shouldn't work at all, but this is Smash 4, so who the fuck knows what's gonna happen, honestly. That has been a lot of this year in a nutshell. Like, you legit never know what's gonna happen in terms of like tournament results. And, oh man, why can't I hit any thunders, but he's always getting so like lucky with them. Ah, well. I was thinking about this game competitively. Like, I think most of us will agree Zero is still like the best player, but he hasn't won like a ton of tournaments. It's just that he usually does place really well. Like, he'll virtually always place well. And obviously, if you had to face him in bracket, it'd be pretty freaky, pretty scary. But so you can never really predict who's gonna win a tournament. I feel like it makes it very fun to watch though. Like with Melee, you pretty much always know Armada's gonna win unless it's like DreamHack Austin, where I think it was DreamHack Austin, where his controller breaks, and then he can't enter. And then after that, I think, was it? I don't know if Chu won that tournament. I don't follow Melee too much, so I couldn't really say. There is definitely a tournament that was fairly recent that Chu won, though. And, like, I'm pretty sure he bodied Mewtwo King. Which, in all fairness, I mean, Chu is one of my favorite Melee players, so... Man, what a shocker. A Smash 4 player thinks Chu is good. But, yeah. So, I think it's kind of, like, cheesy that Mewtwo King will try to play Peach against Ices and only Ices. Like, I get why he hates them. I mean, it's pretty obnoxious. Although I will fully admit that if I played Melee, I'd probably play Ices as well. I'd say because, like, okay, because I'm like a complete character loyalist to Ness, even though I really only play Smash 4. If I did play another game competitively, I would have Ness as one of my mains. But I probably wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't solo main him just because I like too many characters in every Smash game. So I definitely co-main either Samus or Ices. I mean, maybe I'd go for Marth, but I feel like Samus or Ices would just be a lot more fun. Why not all three? But, either that or I just main like a bunch of low tiers, but that seems like a terrible idea. Because Melee, the game where only half the cast is viable, which, I mean, I feel like there are definitely a good chunk of competitive games in general that are like that. Hell, as an Overwatch player, I can say that has really always been a major problem. There's just always only so many characters that are viable, that are seen in pro play. And like half the characters you pretty much can play in competitive without most people like yelling at you. I'm a support main, so I don't really have that struggle too much. I can pretty much play any healer, and in most situations people will be okay with it. It's really just, you know, sometimes people ask me to switch to one, but I play all four of them, so like I'm fairly lucky in that regard. Like I said, I put time into enough of them that, I mean, I can play any of them theoretically. It's just there's one that I'm clearly the worst with, and that would be Anna. Which again, just because I put the least time into her. Mercy takes a lot of Mercy takes a lot of skill. Mercy main, by the way. But Yeah, that's one thing that I say this a lot about Smash 4. It really is one of my favorite things, that it feels like pretty much any character is viable. And like, everyone, at least in my opinion, is really fun to play, except for maybe a few characters which I find a little less entertaining. But yeah, like, they're all really fun to play. They're all clearly viable to some extent. I mean, if tournaments like Civil War haven't shown that, then I don't know what will. And of course, Fatality recently just doing absolutely incredible. Quickly becoming one of my favorite players. Well, in all fairness, he was before. Like, I've always enjoyed watching Fatality quite a bit. But recently, it's become so much more captivating, and hearing him, like, talk about things is just so interesting. He's a great guy. I like him. Not that I know him personally, mind you, but I mean, that would be pretty cool. Yeah. I will say though, a lot of the fighting games that I've actually played are pretty well balanced, because like, probably my 3 favorite fighting games would be this game, obviously, and then probably Pokken Tournament and Skullgirls, which are both very well balanced. Usually people will say that any character in either of those games is viable. It's just that obviously they are more, I don't want to say more serious fighting games, because I feel like that really does undermine Smash Bros. A lot. But yeah, rip him. More technical, I think, would be the right word, or more traditional, really, because they are more traditional fighters. They require a lot more tech skill and stuff, and I just haven't put the time in them to really be good at either of them. But they're still really fun. Like, the Skullgirls soundtrack is something I listen to a lot when doing work and stuff, because it's just so damn good. My favorite songs are probably the Lab 8 theme. I really like Big Band's theme, Unfinished Business, and what's it? I can't think of the Grand Cathedral theme is really good. Okay, though. So, let's see. Can I get this? Not quite. But I'm about to. There we go. Okay. So, on to 3 stocks. Okay. I feel like there are some games where he's leveling up really slow, and then others where he's leveling up a lot faster, which is kind of good, but also obviously kind of bad. It's not bad overall. I feel like his rate kind of does average out. It's just kind of weird. Anyway, he just kind of walked into that, or I guess crawled in. Whatever. Look, I've got an early kill. That's cool, I guess. Okay, though. Let's see here. I'll go for it. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of Pikachu's down smash. I think his other smash attacks are just way better. Because, like, forward smash does also have that really, like, disjointed quality to it. It makes it pretty useful. But, oh well. I mean, pretty much, there really aren't any characters where all of their smash attacks are good, I'd say. Falco is probably one of the closest things to it. Like, I'd say all of Falco's are pretty decent. And same for Fox, although his forward smash is a lot worse than Falco's forward smash is. God damn it, he messes up his quick attack like once every maybe 5 stocks. And a lot of games have actually been ended with him fucking up a quick attack. Okay, so I feel like he is pretty close to where he should be right now. And even though we are going a bit far, I do want to have one more shorter game right now just to make sure he's not falling behind and to make sure he doesn't fall behind next episode. So we're going to throw this in right now. I'm just good at Pokemon Stadium too. I'm obviously a Mega because we only have 2 players. I do feel like this is a very fun stage with like in 8-player mode, but yeah, the transformations are just a bit too much. Okay, so... Oh, okay, good, I managed to avoid it. Well, not avoid it, but basically clang with it that time. There was something I was just saying. I can't think of what it was. God damn me. Okay, actually, this is a pretty funny story. So, occasionally I have dabbled a little bit with, like, Pokemon Showdown. And one time, like, about a week ago, this person I know was like, he doesn't really have his, like, normal computer right now, so he can't play, like, Overwatch and stuff with my friends. So, we were kind of, like, on Discord. And he's like, does anyone want to go play Pokemon Showdown? And I'm like, you know what? Sure, why the fuck not? So we played a couple rounds, and one time we decided to play Ubers, so we both made Gen 6 Ubers teams. And he started the battle off with Speed Form Deoxys. So, probably sounds kind of normal so far. I don't really know how much people actually use Speed Form Deoxys, since, like I said, I only really dabble in the competitive scene. I don't know too much about it, especially on Ubers, because I usually just play Uyo. Sometimes I have played, that is. But he starts out with a Deoxys speed form. I forget what I'd actually hit it with, but I just kind of like just tried to one-shot it with something pretty powerful. And he survives. And I'm wondering, he sets up like I think he set up like spikes and stuff with it, and he has light screen and barrier on it. I think that's what it's called. This fucker set up a max defense Deoxys speed form. It was and he put it on a focus sash as the item. It was legit the stupidest thing I've ever seen, and it worked kind of the first time. He still lost, but like he actually, at least I think he actually may have won the first round he played it, and then the second round. No, I think when we did Ubers, I won the first round, and then I also won the second round because you don't fucking put max defense on Speed Deoxys. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, hey though, it worked. Because in all fairness, the first time he tried it on me, it kinda works. Like, I'm a little sad to admit it, but also think about this. You see a speed form Deoxys, what are you expecting it to do? In all fairness, I don't know what I'm expecting it to do, but I'm definitely not expecting it to throw up spikes and barriers. And also survive what was probably a super effective attack, but I'm not really certain. Wait, who was my... I think I had Arceus as like my setup Pokemon. I was running a Steel Arceus, which again, I don't really know how viable that is, but I mean, you know, it's not like my competition was all that viable either. He had some very stupid shit, but it almost kind of worked. What else? What was the other thing? Oh yeah, this wasn't with him, but one of the first times I tried playing, I did run something very stupid that was pretty similar to that, where I had a Blissey with Focus Sash and Counter. I don't think I really need to say much more. If you know about competitive Pokemon, you probably have a basic idea of what I was doing. For those of you who don't, though, I will explain. Basically, Blissey has a lot of HP and pretty low defense, and okay, that was stupid of me. But basically, my strategy was I could send her out against a fighting type or just another strong physical attacker. Focus Sash keeps her from dying in one hit, so I could just kind of let her get down to 1 health, and then counter, and just send like 700 HP toward my enemy. So, I mean, it was really stupid, but hey, it almost worked sometimes. See, the thing is, it would actually, like, kill people. Like, I would use it against, like, Machamps, and, again, mostly if the enemy had a fighting type, I'd use it against the fighting type. But, so I could throw it out against, like, Machamps, and I don't know, probably, like, some other really good physical attackers. I could have probably thrown it out against, like, Weaviles, which I'm really just saying because Weavile is my favorite Pokemon, so I always use her in teams. But yeah, like Weavile, Pokemon like that, I could have just demolished with that strategy. Not that it's a smart one, but hey, there's a lot of, you get a lot out of the unexpected. Okay though, so I think that will about wrap it up for this episode of Amiibo Training. So if you manage to find some form of enjoyment, please consider leaving a like and maybe even subscribing to see how Overrated's training continues. So I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you all in the future. If I can just end this off any second now. There we go. Bye.